All right, good morning. Welcome to Inside Pages on Metro Television. My name is Audumoro. It's a pleasure to come your way. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Inside Pages today promises to be more and more exciting, and you've made the right choice by tuning in to Inside Pages on a Metro Television. Now, one of the big events that's actually happened this week is about the dismissal of the Black Stars coach, and I'm talking about Coach Chris Hughting. He's gone back to the UK as we speak. Chris Hughting failed to deliver the goods. We saw what happened with the Black Stars. Ghanaians are very, very, very disenchanted and very unhappy with the way the Black Stars performed in Ivory Coast. I'm talking about the AFCON 2023. And so the Ghana Football Association didn't have any option, according to them, than to let him go. But the Ghana Football Association is now in search of a new coach. And the criteria has been clearly spelled out as to what type of coach we're looking for. We'll walk you through all of that. And then, of course, a 5-member committee has been set up to go out there and look for a coach for the Black Stars. I've already heard some people say we're doing the same thing and that we're probably going to get the same results. And also, we'll walk you through the individuals who actually constitute this committee. This was the issues about the Ghana Football Association themselves. They come on their flag, some serious flag, where some people are saying that the Ghana Football Association themselves should pack their bag and baggage and leave because they are the ones who have caused us this pain. So it's a debate that's ongoing. We'll look at all of that on Inside Pages this morning with my resource persons be joining me. All right, so this is Inside Pages on Metro Television. For now, it's about Black Stars. I did indicate to you in the beginning that we're looking for a new coach because Chris Hughting has been sacked by the Ghana Football Association because he failed to perform. But the same Ghana Football Association has actually come up with a 5-member committee. So the 5-member committee, they have been tasked to hire a new coach for the Black Stars, as I did indicate, after the dismissal of Chris Hughting. Now, the Makado, who is the vice president of the Ghana Football Association, has been appointed to chair this 5-member committee, while legal practitioner Isankoma would act as the vice chair. Other members of the committee include Professor Joseph Kwame Menta, Director of Coaching Education of the GFA, Ghana football legend Opoku Nti, and there's also William Caesar Kati, Chief Director of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Now, the committee has been given 3 weeks by the GFA Executive Council to recommend a Black Stars coach for approval. Now, there's a statement on the GFA's website that said that the head coach position of the Black Stars will be published soon, but will provide criteria for selection. Now, some criteria has already been announced, to be honest, by the GFA, and that includes a coach who is a proven winner. Yeah, a proven serial winner in coaching top men's national teams or club football, and a coach with a football philosophy that aligns with or complements Ghana's football DNA. Remember, we now have a DNA that's been prepared by the Ghana Football Association. So the coach must align with that DNA, that blueprint we have produced. Now, others include a proven track record in team reconstruction, organization, development of young talent, as well as a disciplinarian, a tactician, and has leadership skills. Lastly, a coach who holds the highest football license in the world and has over 15 years of coaching experience. That automatically takes out, what's the name of the Liverpool coach again? Something Klopp? Jurgen Klopp. That automatically takes him out. I think even Mourinho, I want to believe. Or even Pep Guardiola, all of them are out. 15 years, that's what we're talking about. Well, we wish the Ghana Football Association, the 5-member committee, well. But questions have been asked as to why are we going the same route? We've been doing this. We set up committees. They bring us a coach. The coach comes, it flops. We set up committees. Can't we do something differently? There's all kinds of questions that have been asked. And also with the Ghana Football Association, why haven't they come out to apologize to Ghanaians? Why are they quiet? We've seen what has happened with other countries that have not been able to progress. The football associations have come out. They've apologized to they've apologized to their country and so on and so forth. Ket has gone quiet. He said nothing. Okay, and some have been saying that it's not enough for Chris Hughton to go. The entire Ghana Football Association must also perhaps back. That's what some people are calling for. It's not coming from me. It's from people. So it's a whole conversation we intend to have. I have Mr. Kojo Mboafo. He's a sports enthusiast. He loves football. He's very passionate about, especially football. He's a sports enthusiast, but very passionate about football. He's with me here. Kojo Mboafo, good morning. It's good to see you, sir. Thank you very much for having you. Right, I'm fine, thank you. Please, your microphone, I'm told, is off. Yeah, please do. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. True, absolutely. And in fact, that's why I said he's actually a sports enthusiast. So that includes, boxing. Yeah, so Kojo himself has said it. He used to be, I think, the take of affairs as far as Ghana boxing is concerned. It's not just about soccer. And also have the man, Coach Christopher Nimley, household name. Sports enthusiast, he's a football coach, he's a lecturer, he's a man of many things. In fact, he will probably tell me more about himself before he goes ahead to give us a submission, what he makes of all that has happened. Chris, it's good to see you. Good morning.
It's always a pleasure. I'm very well.
Yeah, you're probably one of the most sought after analysts today.
We are grateful to God for that. It's all about Mother Ghana.
I see you. It's all about Mother Ghana. I like that. So somebody just asked to text, said I should ask you whether you would want to take up a coaching job sometime in Ghana, but that's a question for another day. When we get there.
Let me just answer that quickly.
Right.
Let me tell the person that, of course, it's my passion.
Right.
It's something I've invested in.
Right.
I am American trained, Canadian trained, German trained.
Okay.
I did some of my coaching batches in these three countries, and of course, I've also had some coaching here with the Confederation of African Football.
Okay.
So the licenses are there.
Right.
That allows me to do it.
Okay.
But for now, I am focused on juvenile football.
Right.
And as part of my records or my achievement, I can at least say that I have provided Ghana with a goalkeeper who was in the last World Cup. Lawrence Atizigi happens to be a player I picked from the age of 8 years.
Okay.
And I work with. And I have been an integral member of his trajectory up to where he is at the moment. So yes, why not? If given opportunity, I would like to do it. It's something I do on a regular basis. But because of the manner in which our game is highly compromised and the way I do my things, I find it very difficult to commit to any club because I've had offers.
Okay.
I remember very well Okwawu United during their very difficult times. Did approach me. In fact, I had a lengthy conversation with them. Then we got to the stage where I needed to form my backroom staff.
Okay.
Then they were insistent at the time that they will have to give me my backroom staff.
Okay.
And I said, look, if there's any fundamental trick I learned from all the coaching courses I've been, I was told emphatically from all my instructors or those who actually took us through these licenses, were told that as a head coach, never should you compromise on your backroom staff.
Okay.
And go to all the teams here in Ghana. I say this without fear or favor to anybody.
Okay.
There's no team in Ghana here that has allowed the head coach to walk in there with his own backroom staff.
Interesting.
Therefore, after some few months, those assistant coaches don't have an allegiance to you, the head coach. They have an allegiance to those people who brought them in.
Right.
And then they also start sabotaging you the next time you are sacked. So if we are not ready to go truly professional and allowing coaches to come in there with their own... In fact, one of the biggest downfall of Chris Hughton, surprisingly to somebody like me, was the fact that he did not insist that he would have to walk into the Black Stars shop with his own backroom staff.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it was shocking to me. And he allowed the same assistant coaches who were allegiance to the FA and then committed to Otuado to be his backroom staff. And look, truth be told, they've not helped him at all.
Right.
At all.
Right. But let me ask you this. In fact, this then raises another question, Kojo. Do you? Yes. What he said. Yeah. Oh, your microphone, sorry, is off. Yeah.
I just want to ask Coach, based on what he just said, because I thought that it was very strange that Chris Houston's backroom staff were donated to him.
Yeah.
I thought it was strange that he had 2 assistant coaches instead of an assistant coach.
Yeah.
And all the other things that came with it. But what did Atisigi tell you about why he wasn't imposed?
Look, to be honest with you, of all the goalkeepers we took to the AFCON, he's been the most active. We took him to the World Cup. We all saw his performance. He was indeed a revelation.
Right.
After the World Cup, he's been the number 1 goalkeeper for his team, St. Gallen, in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Because
So
we watch,
he was shocked.
He plays every week in, week out.
Week in, week out.
Week in, week out, yeah.
So when he came, I called him and I said, "What is going on there? Are you training well as a coach? I wish you were here to have a look at what goes on.
Wow.
But as a player, I want to respect the decision of the technical team." Shocking to me and to every Ghanaian is that our goalkeepers trainer, Richard Olele Kingston, has got a huge say in who actually
Mans the pole.
keep goal for Ghana.
Okay.
And that decision to drop Ati was not a footballing decision. It is only Richard Olele Kingston who can explain why he opted for a goalkeeper who has not been imposed for 2 years to be our number 1 goalkeeper.
Well, it shouldn't surprise you. He was never in the post for anybody, but we're still fielding him as a national goalkeeper.
There you go.
Anyway,
So that may not be a criteria
that he should look at.
criteria
So
for him. But I think Richard Ofori, as a goalkeeper, is particularly deficient
in so many techniques,
in basic
goalkeeping training.
goalkeeping. I don't want to call it norms. I don't know.
There's a technique, goalkeeping technique.
yeah.
The man never comes out for a cross and gathers the ball.
That's right.
Something that is basic. Corner kicks. Claim your area, dominate the space, bring the cross down,
That's right.
and have the ball.
Basic.
Basic. He never puts an out ball that puts the other team under
Pressure.
pressure.
That's right.
Look at the great goalkeepers. Look at the most storied goalkeeper in the world today, Alisson Becker.
Yeah.
That's right.
How many times have Liverpool scored
From his kick,
from his kick
or from
or
his
his roll?
distribution, or his throwing.
Look at Edison. Look at Vicario.
That's right. Ter Stegen.
Ter Stegen. Look at what the great Manuel Neuer used to do.
That's right.
Even Atisigi.
Yes. He's a ball-playing goalkeeper.
Right.
He's a ball-playing
That was
goalkeeper.
one of the fundamental traits I taught him
Okay.
when he was at the under-12 level.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Because he used to, I encourage them all. Yes, you are allowed to use your hand.
Yeah.
But of course, per the rules of the game, when we are under pressure, we cannot build from the back. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong starting from the goalkeeper.
Of the goalkeeper.
So automatically, as a goalkeeper, you need to learn how to use your foot.
Interesting.
Interestingly,
Football has evolved.
Interestingly, during the World Cup and in our matches against USA and Mexico,
Yeah.
he had more touches than any player, the
Yeah.
goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That should tell you the potential is there.
Okay.
But as a goalkeeper, you are like the great Peter Shilton said, a good goalkeeper is only as good as the defense in front of him.
That's right.
Okay? And our defenders have been shockingly deficient.
Yeah.
Shockingly deficient. I don't need to mention names. We've all been watching them. The kinds of mistakes that they've made. I mean, from the World Cup to today. It's
African
not,
Cup.
I don't want to mention the individuals. That won't be fair.
And to think that these are professionals, huh? Playing for so-called top clubs.
Yeah. But it also has to do with the selection criteria,
Okay.
right? A defender played for us in this tournament who had played only 2.5 matches for his team. So, as a trainer or as a
The coach.
why didn't you have that information? You have 2 assistants. You have a goalkeeper who has not played a single match for his team in 2 years. He's the third choice goalkeeper, not in a European team, but in South Africa. So would you not have been better if you had fielded the goalkeeper of Midiama?
Far better.
We'll make more sense.
Would you not have been better if you fielded the goalkeeper of Accra Hearts of Oak? But in my mind, the best goalkeeper in this country is the Midiama goalkeeper, by a country mile. Yeah. So even if you were not going to field at Tiziki, why wouldn't you field him? You know, there is something wrong, and I keep asking myself. So who is it who calls some of these things to order within that whole setup? Because when a national team coach is selecting Edmond Addo ahead of Salis Abdul Samed, you should ask him what he's been smoking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should ask him what was used to distill the weed he was smoking that morning. Because Edmond Addo has not been registered by Steaua Bucharest, also Steaua Belgrade, right, to play in the Champions League. He wasn't registered by his team.
We kept calling him when he's only played 14 minutes of football all season.
But
that's
like
shocking.
I said, when your team doesn't register you for European competition, that should tell everybody what they think about you.
Yeah.
If I know this, why didn't Chris Hughton know it? And how do you select such a person ahead of Salis Abdul Samed? Somebody who keeps playing, who has played almost every minute for RC Lens. A Champions League team that went to Emirates to beat Arsenal.
Right.
What is wrong with you? So, who calls them to order?
But doesn't that beg the question as to whether Chris Hughton was set up to fail, or he had no business coaching the Black Stars in the first place?
I think he had absolutely no business coaching the Black Stars. Listen, Chris Hughton is utterly useless as a coach.
How so, Joe?
Where do you want me to start? As a head coach, you oversee what is going on within the team, right? These days, it's not the job of just a single person to know everything.
Yeah.
But like a managing director, you need to bring all aspects of the system around your team and make it work. You need to you are responsible for the final decisions. You are responsible. So if Olele brings you Richard Kingston, you, the coach, should know that he hasn't kept post for 2 years.
Yeah.
You should ask for that information. If you're not asking for it, you're particularly deficient. You, the coach, should know that Richmond Lamptey is one of the best footballers we have, not just in this country, as a midfielder who progresses the ball. I think he has better form than Majid Ashumeru. I will not. Let me go back to my point.
Okay.
I will not. I'm a House of Oak supporter.
Yeah.
So if I tell you that a Kotoko player is a good player, believe what I'm telling you.
True.
So I'm not going to quibble with him on deciding to start Majid Ashimeru ahead of Richmond Lamptey. No problem. But when Majid Ashimeru gets an injury and you are taking him off, you don't bring on Baba Idrisu. That's deficient. Because it means that you have you play a 4-2-3-1 system. The crux of the 4-2-3-1 system is to have a traditional holding midfielder, and you have somebody who moves the ball forward.
True.
If you have Richmond Lamptey in that team and you have Elisha Owusu, what business do you have bringing Baba Idrisu to come and play the same lateral line that
Salis
is playing? Because both the two of them, they are like twins. They play the same kind of game.
Right.
So why would you want to do that?
So it stagnates our play.
It doesn't just stagnate. It stymies the play.
Yeah.
Stagnate is like maybe you can push it forward.
Yeah.
It stymies miss the play. And you realize that any time those two are played, we are a special kind of us. We do not play. That means that Mohamed Kudus has to come back and play fetch. That means, it drops us back about 10 yards. And that 10 yards is enough for anybody to catch up with you in transition. Right? Today's game is scientific. What you put in is what you get out. It's not rocket science, but it is scientific. So if you are playing two holding midfielders, essentially, who are just passing the ball backwards
and square,
what are you going to get? You are having to get your attacking midfielder, who is more or less the 10, having to drop back. If you are a coach who decides that the person who was your best offensive weapon in a half was exhausted, so you brought on the oldest player in the team who was going to get tired after 2.5 minutes,
who has just played 31 minutes of football in 6 to 7 months.
I know.
You are especially deficient. And I don't want anybody to tell me, oh, there was pressure on him. We know there was pressure. That's why you are paid the big bucks, to handle the pressure.
Just to add to what you are saying, on that substitution.
So there's a track record that ought to be broken, to have been broken, and that's why it was
on
broken.
that substitution. Let me tell you something. After the tournament, I've spoken to 4 of the players. They've revealed something to me that was so shocking. You see that the day Ayew substitution?
Yes.
And that Daniel Amate substitution?
Yes.
I'm told from the players on the bench that the day himself woke up, put on the jersey, and told them that whether they like it or not, he's going in.
Oh, tell me it's a joke.
I'm telling you.
What?
I am telling you. Because Chris Hughton had already been sacked after the game against Cape Verde.
Oh, he was told.
Yeah, he was told. I mean, the people at the FA, Ketokrekwa and his people. So therefore, they created chaos.
You remember there was this so-called emergency meeting that was had,
Yes.
I think after the Cape Verde
Yes.
meeting.
There was,
you guys talked about it.
There was a chaos in our camp where the FA president gets his people to make the man's work not possible.
Oh, I see.
Ketokrekus, is it that news that came that supporters? It wasn't supporters. I am stating here. The videos are there. I've seen the video. And in due time, the video will be released. Everybody who attempted to attack the coach belongs to the Ketokreku camp. We know them. Their names are out there. And they did it in such a way that, and what was so appalling, when the FA president was informed that come and see what your people are doing, he turned deaf ears to it.
See.
And the so-called security man, there's this guy called Aziz,
Yes.
who's been beating up journalists left, right, center, who works for Ketokreku, you see, time passed. Our team had security from the national security.
You mean the guy who beat Seydou up in the
Yes,
States?
the guy who beat
Yes.
Seydou Adamo in the
Yes.
States. That guy.
Same guy.
That was the only time he was not around the team. Apparently, he'd been told to leave the scene because of what was going to happen. Now, Chris Hughton then, completely useless because there's no conducive environment to get him to work. And then some of our senior players, I'm stating this here on record, some of our senior players, Daniel Amate was the most indisciplined player in camp, insisting that he has to play. Whether the coaches like it or not, he has. And unfortunately, he had the backing of the captain of the team.
Was that the reason he wasn't fielded?
Joseph Pencil, who was substituted unfairly, because by far it was him, Kudus, who were the most dangerous attacking players on our side, threatened to leave Cote d'Ivoire after that substitution.
Wow.
The boy, after he was told he was going to be substituted, he walked to the coach and said, "Why are you substituting me?" And the coach said, "You look like somebody who is fatigued." Goodness me.
Wow.
Masawo Didi Dramani, George Boateng, Chris Hughton, the video thing that you are watching, because that software clearly tells you the distance covered by every player and how the player is accelerating.
Oh, I see.
Who on the field was much faster than Joseph Pencil?
Coach, even those of us who are archaic in watching football, we saw the person who was causing the Mozambicans problems, and indeed the person who caused us the penalty.
Was John Pencil.
So how do you now tell us that he was exhausted, and because of that
he looks exhausted?
He looks exhausted.
Yes. So you substituted him with somebody who came in, and 2.5 minutes later he was completely exhausted.
Yeah, it was time. It was gone. Yeah.
Let me also push something in. In the first match we played, was it the first match or the second match? During one of the cooling breaks, Chris Hughton was seen asking Jordan Ayew whether he wanted to be substituted
or not.
So when I say he is especially deficient, how can you claim that somebody looked exhausted? So you substituted him, and then another player who was clearly exhausted because at a point in time Jordan Ayew was hunched over.
Yeah.
You didn't spot that he was exhausted. You didn't make the change. You changed him in the 93rd minute.
When we had just conceded a goal.
So Chris wasn't in charge?
No, he wasn't in charge.
No, he wasn't in charge of his own faculties.
Yeah, that one you blame him for.
Yes.
But in terms, you see, the FA in their criteria for the next grade is talking about discipline.
Yes.
Even the people of the FA, highly indisciplined. They themselves are very indisciplined.
Right.
The people at the FA, Keto Kriko and his people, they themselves are very indisciplined because every act of indiscipline in our camp, they caused it. Look, when you speak to the boys, it got to the stage the boys wanted to come home. When you call them, they say, "Coach, I want to come home. Come and see what our big men are doing here." They see our team as a cash cow.
It's business.
They are only interested in the fact that when we progress, the more money they make. But they are not putting in measures that would ensure that there is absolute discipline in our camp. We were in the same hotel with the Nigerians. When you look or read the reportage, that came from the Nigerian camp. Very disciplined, very calm, less noise, less this. We're in the same hotel, but the area, I was told that we were on the right. I've forgotten. Assuming we are on the left, they were on the right side of the hotel. Right. So there was a boundary between the two teams.
Yeah.
And if you look at their side, very disciplined. There is time where they allow their journalists to walk in there, interact with the players. When it's time, everybody move out in a coordinate manner. Anytime you saw our hotel or our people, there was chaos, left, right, center. People going as if they wanted to attack people physically. The indiscipline of the management team is what has been transferred to some of the players.
Right.
Because after the game against Mozambique, we had a player who said that, look, when Ghanaians were furious, a player stepped out and said, if the journalist think he's sensible, he should cross past the boundary, you will see what he will do to him. A player who hasn't won a game in 6 AFCON game, 2 AFCON tournaments. You've not even won one game. You had the guts. Look, I would have been so worried, so down, that I'm letting my people down. I'm letting my family down. I'm letting myself down as a player. If somebody expresses his anger as a result of you not performing, you don't come back in an equal measure to match up to the person's anger. You're going to create further chaos and destruction around our team. So for Chris Hughton, like what my boss here is saying, it's very clear. He shouldn't have been given the job. I spoke against that. There are records of me saying that this man's ideology, his philosophy, his way of doing things is outmoded.
Chris, let me state, and I've stated this. I was one of the people who thought that the appointment of Chris Hughton was a good idea.
Yeah.
Given his level of achievement in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And the fact that as a coach of Spurs, Newcastle, and Brighton. Hove Albion, you should know, Nottingham Forest, you should know how to deal with big egos.
Exactly.
Because for me, I thought one of the biggest problems
of the egos in the team
are the egos in the team. But like I said, he has been especially deficient.
Yeah.
Look, yesterday I read a tweet from Andre Ayew. Basically saying, I'm paraphrasing, we are sorry for...
but he will make amends in the next African Cup of Nations. He personally will make amends.
You know the worst part of what he said?
Yes.
We'll be back stronger.
Yes, that's what he said.
You'll be back stronger? You will be back stronger to do what?
He's finished.
Well, he still feels he's got some football in him to play.
Andre Ayew should never play for the Black Stars again. And I'm going to tell you why. The last 3 tournaments that we have exited have been directly attributable to mistakes he has made.
Yeah.
In the World Cup, he missed a penalty that he shouldn't have taken in the first place.
Exactly.
Because Jordan Ayew was on the pitch. And as far as I'm concerned, Jordan Ayew is the best penalty taker
he's the number one
I have ever seen.
Excellent penalty taker.
Kudus was on the field.
He's also
the man who won the penalty in the first place. You didn't allow him to take it. You went to stand there, took it, and you completely messed it up.
Yeah.
Against Comoros in the last Cup of Nations, Andre Ayew got himself a red card in the 16th or 26th minute? And we played the majority of the game with 10 men. That is what cost us the game. Because even a draw against Comoros would have put us through. Indeed, at the time we clawed back to 2-2. If they had good information, they should have chosen to hold, and then settle, and not concede the third goal. Then in this match, we are 2-0 ahead. Giddy, and Andre Ayew came into the match. Somebody should tell me if they remember that he even touched a football.
Yeah.
A needless penalty that you conceded sent us on our way to perdition. You have played over 120 matches for the Black Stars. What a game.
He's been around for 17 years.
You are 34 years old. What a game. Is it only going to be about your so-called personal records or the fact that you need to wear the armband at all costs?
We need to move on.
Let me tell you a little secret that I heard. In Qatar, when Coach Otoado substituted him after the half in which he missed the penalty
against Uruguay,
he went and had a confrontation with Coach Otoado.
Interesting.
Had to be separated by, I'm naming names, Daniel Amante, the one who separated them.
Yeah.
Did are you?
Yes, because Otoado was not having any of it.
I know of that story too.
Wow. Right? In this particular AFCON, he has been causing problems in the camp.
He and Daniel
Amate.
Amate.
Disrespected, he hasn't been called.
He and Daniel Amate were the two most indisciplined players.
What Coach Chris has heard and what I've heard, it's not different. Yeah. Many people have heard it because we all have friends in there.
They're coming from direct sources.
Direct sources. Asking who controls that camp to make sure that some of these things don't happen. And as far as I'm concerned, there are certain players who should never be called to the Black Stars again if we want to progress.
Who are these players?
One of them is Andre Ayew. He's done.
He's done.
Okay, it's finished.
One of them,
Ayew. Jordan Ayew is another.
I mean, we should move on.
Jordan Ayew.
Jordan still has some
Hold on, Jordan won't pass the ball. The way Jordan plays for the national team, if that's how he plays for Crystal Palace,
he would have been benched. Yeah, would have been
won't pass the ball until his brother is on the pitch. Right?
So Jordan. Did he?
And the goalkeeper, Richard Ofori, should never come anywhere near the Black Stars again because he hasn't played for his team. He's the third choice keeper.
He's going back.
He's gone back.
Orlando Pirates.
To go and warm the bench again.
Right? And you are the third choice goalkeeper in Orlando Pirates. Then when you come to the Black Stars, you are the captain. How does that work out? I will go as far as saying players like no, hold on. Players like Thomas Partey should never play for the Black Stars again. Because every time he plays for us, he is worried about his injury, and maybe rightfully so, because Arsenal pay his wages. Yeah. He's gotten to a point where he's become injury prone. We should allow him to continue
and focus on his club. Yeah.
Because immediately after we were shepherded out of the
World Cup.
Of the World Cup, right? Sorry, of the Cup of Nations.
Cup of Nations.
Thomas Partey is fit.
Yes.
He will play Arsenal's next match.
Yes.
So, are you telling me he wasn't fit 2 weeks ago?
Why do you think he wasn't?
No, I'm saying that he was fit 2 weeks ago. He just declined to come. That's what I'm saying. But even more importantly, there are a crop of young people, young players coming up. And the way we are going with our team is a disincentive to them. You see, Fatau Isaaku declined to come?
Yes.
You see...
Afinajan.
No, not Afinajan. The Abdul Mumin.
Abdul Mumin.
Yeah, Abdul Mumin.
Solid guy. Yeah.
Right? Oh, the guy who plays for Southampton. The winger who plays for Southampton.
Kamal Dean.
Oh, Kamal Dean.
Declined to come.
Yeah.
But he's going to play for his team today.
Mm-hmm.
You know why they do that? Because they know that Jordan Ayew is a staple. No matter what happens, he will play 93 minutes. Whether he's in a wheelchair
or not,
he's playing 93 minutes. And they know that when he gets the ball, he won't pass. He will run into the corner. It will turn around. You'll be either to be dispossessed or you lie down and look for a foul. That's the set of play of the Black Stars. Right? They also know that with the Black Stars, nothing changes.
Yeah.
Because since Kurt became the FA chairman, every time we are looking for a coach, this is what happens. The chairman to lead the search for the so-called Black Stars coach is Mercado. Not so.
That's it.
Mercado was the chairman of the Black Stars in Ivory Coast.
Yes.
Chairman of Black Stars when we went to in Cameroon.
Yes.
Chairman of the Black Stars when we went to Qatar.
Right.
Where my Thai had, they shared $100,000 each among themselves. Chairman of the search committee that brought Otoado. Chairman of the search committee that brought
Milo.
Chairman of the search committee that brought Sike Akuno. Chairman of the search committee. And the list goes on and on and on. Nothing changes. We've done it again. Yeah. And this time, to make matters worse, they've brought Esankuma.
He should
right?
Look.
Esankuma.
He is passionate about sports as well. I mean, you've seen his commentary.
Let him finish.
Esankuma, after this so-called 3 weeks committee is said and done, Esankuma will collect enough transaction fees to build another.
He's a professional. I mean, why not? There's nothing wrong with that.
What job does Prosper Harrison do?
Okay.
Prosper is a lawyer with at least 20 years at the bar. So what is Esankuma going to do that Prosper cannot do?
Maybe there's more to why Esankuma is there.
And I'm asking you to explain to me, what does Esankuma know that Prosper doesn't know?
Right.
Maybe Prosper hasn't been on Twitter as much. But even these days, Esankuma has not been on Twitter since Akufo-Addo came to power.
Yeah.
He is only on Twitter when NDC are in office. So apart from his Twitter experience, what else does Prosper not know? Besides, Prosper is the general secretary of the FA. You see, let's start calling these things out. You know me, I'm fearless. How much food do I eat? I'm already diabetic. How much food do I eat? So there's nothing you can put in my mouth to shut me up. But I'm simply saying that some of these things, if you keep doing the same things over and over and over and over and again, and you expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity.
Right. And foolishness. And foolishness. Look.
But what should have been the new approach?
Let me, just before he tackle the new approach, Let me comment on the committee.
On the committee.
Look, it is so sad when we are looking for the head coach of the national team and we set up a committee that has only one technical man.
And who's that person?
Professor Menta.
Okay.
The rest have got no business being on the committee.
Oh, why?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Is Sankuma, the man from the ministry, Mark Addo, they don't talk tactics and technical matters. They don't understand what goes into the development of a football player from the coaching perspective. So when that coach comes and he sits there, what question are they going to be asking? There is Sankuma and co. After the technical people had interviewed the coach and recommended that we think this is the man for the job, then they will not even interact with the coach. The way these things are done, the coach has an agent who talks his legal matters with him. That is where Sakuma comes in. The coach will direct him, go and see my agent. The clauses in the contract, the payment, the amount of money that will be paid, how long the contract is going to be awarded for and all that. These are matters. Look, during the times of Akwesi Nyantakyi, I remember very well. I was very close to the late Uncle Ben Kofi, very close to the late Coach Samadi. I'm still very close to a man I consider to be my father when it comes to coaching, Francis Nyameba Otiakente.
Okay.
I'm very close to him.
The former director of technical director of the Ghana Football Association.
I talk to him on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Almost every week here myself, we talk about matters. Look, when we were going after Djokovic, Djokovic, the one who took us to the 2006 World Cup, the technical team that appointed that man had Uncle Ben Kofi.
Okay.
Late Uncle Ben Kofi, the late Coach Samadi, Francis Banyame Bautianke, and then one or two people from the FA. George Friye was part of that committee. Look, if you listen to George talk on the matter, when Ratama Djokovic came, and even Milo, the first coming of Milo, George was there to observe, but the proper question that goes into matters of tactics and what technicality
can only come from a technical person.
Can only come from a technical person. Can only come from a technical person. So the likes of Uncle Ben Kofi, look, the day that man passed there, that was when I valued what Ghana had and lost. They could some add it, but can you imagine going to an interview where Uncle Ben Kofi is there? Somebody who's given us a proper developmental program, 5-year development plan that brought the likes of Suleiman Tari, Michael Eason, John Pencil, John Mensah, Anthony Anna, and co., which we benefited from as a country. Coach Samadi, the originator of the multi-system football, somebody who understands coaching. Otia Kentin, a certified CAF instructor, somebody who CAF uses to go to countries to go and train coaches to boost the level of coaching on the continent of Africa. If I'm a head coach and I'm applying for the job and I come and sit there and I see these people there, I'll need to convince them on matters of technicality and tactics. But if you look at the committee that has been set up, what question is Mark Addo going to ask? No wonder, as chairman, he's failed in all the coaching appointments that he's been chairman.
So Mark Addo, for instance, has no business being there.
Look, himself, Opokuntin, Isankuma, the man from the ministry, they don't come in at all now. They come in later.
Okay.
After the technical people has done proper scrutiny of who the head coach should be.
So this job is for technical people.
It's as simple as
You're
that.
talking about the search for a coach.
The search for a coach.
It's for technical
It's for
people.
technical people.
Because they will understand.
If you look at the
This
criteria
one,
there,
that committee is a search for per diem.
it's a search for per diem. It must be dissolved immediately.
That's a bit unfair. These are guys.
I'm not being.
These are guys who.
You the media men.
These are guys who are.
You the media
They're not
men.
hungry.
You the media men.
Mr. Kuma doesn't understand coaching.
It's not about being
He's
hungry.
not a technical man.
Even the sea, when it rains, it doesn't refuse the water from
That's
the
true.
sky.
That's true.
You, the media men, are responsible partially for where we are today.
Okay.
Yesterday,
Yes.
some of you were busy interviewing Kwesi Nyantakyi.
What's wrong with that, Kojo?
What is not wrong with that?
That's the
This is
former
a man-
Ghana Football
this
Association
is a man
chairman.
who
or president.
disgraced the whole of this country by sitting on video collecting bribe on behalf of the president of this country. Telling the people in the video that the president of this country has sold all his family heirlooms to become president. So he was one of the people who needed to collect money to replenish that slush fund. The man is a halfway crook on trial. How do you interview him? I'm not saying on the nation's TV station, I'm not saying that he's guilty. But I'm saying at the best, give it a buck. Let the court say that the man is innocent or he's acquitted. You know, innocent and acquitted are two different things.
But for now, he's innocent.
Be acquitted on technicalities.
Yes, but not discharged.
But let him purge himself of his criminal.
Well, he's innocent until proven guilty, Kojo.
I am saying that let him purge himself of his criminal case before you give him the platform to come and call out other media men that he gave rooms to in Australia. Did you hear him saying that he doesn't understand why Kwaku Yeboah is against him because he gave Kwaku Yeboah a room in Australia? If you give somebody a room in Australia and you have gone and stolen money, allegedly, the person should keep quiet. Go and read the Normalization Committee report. Has it been refuted? What happened to the $2 million that was withdrawn out of the GFA's Unibank account? What happened to it? Among other things. Yeah. So let's give it a back here. I'm saying if we keep doing the same things over and over and over again, why is it that all of a sudden Kwesi Nyantakyi is trying to wash himself with fairy soap in the eyes of the media?
Is that what you think he's doing?
Yeah, exactly. How many interviews has he given? He gave another one to Bolare since this matter has happened.
And said he was misunderstood.
Misunderstood by what? Didn't we see you on TV? There is nothing that convicts a man better than his own words.
Well, he said the tape was doctored.
That's by who?
By
who opened and closed his mouth? Was there some Coleco operator there? You see, let's stop undermining the intellect and intelligence of the Ghanaian people. Right? But I'm also saying that the FA are giving people like Kwesi Nyantakyi the opportunity to run around saying the things they are saying. Because as we speak today, I have not heard anything from my brother Kurt.
As for him,
I'm actually getting there. But
I have not heard anything. I'm coming.
Okay.
We have not heard anything from Prosper. We have not heard anything from His Holiness Makado.
What do you want them to say, Kojo?
Say something to us.
Look, I have
an apology?
Coach, I'm coming.
An apology?
I don't care. Some of the players have come out and apologized to us.
Yes, about 5
As the people whose taxes that you use for these ventures, we want to hear from you. Why? How many times has President Akufo-Addo, President Mahama, or any president of this country for that matter, when the crap hits the fan, don't they come out and say,
President Kufuor is on record?
This is what happened. We are sorry.
The people of this country.
Yeah.
You know what it does to assuage us? It creates an impression that you actually care. The constant statements with what do you call it? With on letterhead that is even unsigned with anybody's signature. It's not. It rather makes people angry. For the first time, listen, I'm 54 years old. I followed football since I was in the stadium the day that Ghana won
the 78 one?
AFCON in 1978. I was sitting on my father's shoulders. I was 9 years old. I was there. Wow. I have never seen media men as irate as they were in Cote d'Ivoire. So we are getting to the point where one day something really bad is going to happen. And they should understand that these days with social media, I know many of them don't even respond to text messages. That's perfectly okay. But they should take my advice as an old friend. Because in the business of this thing, we all grew up together. We've taken different paths. I don't comment on football because I want to opposition or I want to be anywhere near the FA. In fact, I'm too old to even be anywhere near there. But for the sake of the game that we love so much, as a young student, I saved up money to go and watch Ghana miss penalties in Senegal. Right? 92. I have seen every single World Cup and every single Cup of Nations, but the last two and the Qatar one because I wasn't well. If I was well, I'd have gone.
Yeah.
I've never asked anybody for anything. I just go, I watch. Sometimes I'm in the stands, nobody even knows I'm there.
Yeah.
Right? In 2012, when we went to play in South Africa, remember that Cup of Nations?
Yes.
Into South Africa.
Yes.
A media person saw me in the stands and was like, "Oh, boss, now we are there."
Okay.
And I said, "I'm just quietly watching my game." It's like in the middle of Kruger National Park. That's where the stadium is. We're there. So we love the game. Okay, we love the game between my Black Stars, Liverpool, and House of Folk in whichever order you want to. I will always be there if my health allows me.
Yeah.
So we make suggestions, and if you want to listen, that's fine. But I'm saying that at this time, what we as the supporters of the Black Star will want to hear, is we want
from the
to
GFA.
see our GFA, preferably the president, in an interview with you, in an interview with Maurice Kwanzaa, and in an interview with
Whoever. Yeah.
Rosalind Amu,
Yeah.
Veronica Comey, tell us that we are sorry for what happened. We will do better. We'll change things. But this roadmap is the same road we've traveled on. So I can assure you that the next coach, we have had, listen to this, and Ghanaians, listen to me. We have had 22 coaches in the last 24 years. 22!
Incredible.
Yes, that is
incredible.
That's the figure.
We've set a record, actually.
So we flush coaches like, excuse me to say, you flush your toilet.
Yeah.
And it's the same playbook.
What's wrong with us?
And so in the famous words of Dr. Michael Lee during the O.J. Simpson trial, something is wrong.
Something's wrong.
I mean, it's truly, really, really wrong.
Fundamentally
Once
wrong.
again, in the famous words of Dr. Michael Lee in the O.J. Simpson trial, something is wrong. Because we are doing the same things over and over and over. Look, back in the day when we began innocently as advocates for better things to be done in the sports world,
Yeah.
Nana Butler is alive today. Unfortunately,
Alaji
is no more.
Yeah.
We didn't have social media. Our mobile phones were like blocks, but they were still very accessible. You won't take a phone and call Jaula, he will not answer.
Exactly.
Wherever he is, he will tell you, come and see him.
He sees you. He
will
welcomes
listen to you. Maybe he
Whether
thinks
he
that,
knows you or not, he welcomes you.
Yeah.
maybe he thinks what you are saying is stupid.
During his tenure as FA boss.
Right? No, you've been around long enough. Don't pretend. You've been around long enough. How long have I known you? Over 20 years.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Your head is now shaving, but you're still the same person, right? So.
Oh, could you?
I remember
Right.
the days when you actually had hair on your head. So you see, how you go to Jaula, will he turn you away? He may think that you are speaking a bunch of crap.
True.
But he will listen, he will laugh with you. If you're even lucky, you know Jaula love kebab. He will give you some kebab to eat before you leave.
Yeah.
And when you finish, you will laugh in his head. Look at this foolish man, look at what he's saying. Adekoka's office was a revolving door.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody knows Adekoka's office. Opposite the Trust Bank, former Trust Bank. That's where he was. You will receive any and all comers. How many times have I not been there and seen? Look, and I'm saying this, Adekoka, if you are listening, you know what I'm saying is true. How many times will you not see Joe Agri, right, in Adekoka's office after he has written a letter, after he has written a column blasting him? But we need to listen to each other. Because nobody should tell me that when we saw Ghana conceding 2 goals in the 90th minute and the 93rd minute, it didn't jar everybody. And if you people in the FA are going to keep doing the same things that you are doing and remain incommunicado.
Don't they feel what we're feeling? We're feeling the way we're feeling because we're Ghanaians.
There is a reason.
Why?
I talk to you about presidents and those in authority coming out doing crisis situations and owning the crisis.
Yeah. Because they feel what you feel.
Because there must be a semblance that you feel what we feel. We see people crying in the stadium. We've seen them. Who didn't want to cry? Moro. It was the 91st minute. Eja, diabetic. I got up to go and wee-wee. When I came back, it was 2-2.
What?
I thought there was something wrong with my TV.
Yeah. You had to call?
No. I was like, is there something wrong with the script up there? And then my brother started calling me. My younger brother called me, started calling me. He said, Charlie, have you seen what has happened? I said, I'm seeing 2-2. What's this? He said, the people have scored twice. Can anybody tell me? Look, you think that every time we bomb out of a tournament, worse cannot happen. But worse keeps happening.
The spokesperson of the
There
FA.
are players in the coach. 1 second. Once I'll just round up. I know I've spoken enough. There are players who are Ghanaian citizens.
Yeah.
Who are not playing for the national team ostensibly because they have issues with people.
Yeah.
Where is the free slow?
He's got issue with the FA.
Where's
Alfred Duncan, he's got issue with the FA.
Yeah.
Bernard Mensah, he's got issue with
That's
the
what it
FA.
is.
Abdul Momin, he's got issue with the people at the FA.
Oh.
You ask yourself, you keep depriving us of some of our best talent because of your pettiness. Because of pettiness.
I see. Listen, somebody leaked some information the other day that the reason why Fatawu Isahaku
He's not playing a black.
is not playing is not because Fatawu Isahaku declined to come and play.
Oh, so there's
It's because the coach decided not to call him.
Oh, really? But the guy says he needs time to settle in this club.
Did he tell you this himself?
Well, no.
Did Pencil tell you that he was exhausted?
That's
You see,
you're right.
These are some of the things. Fatawu Isahaku was dropped because of something that happened in the Liberia match.
Got it.
Right? But in any case, if you have an Esmiama sitting on the bench and you
What?
play, why would Fatawu Isahaku come?
It's no problem.
And Esmiama walked from Nordjylland
Straight into the
straight
Lyon team.
into Lyon. The first day he got there, he played 90 minutes of the first match.
Yeah. That's
So
how
if the coach of Lyon is seeing an Esmiama as a starter in his team from the day he landed at Lyon airport, and you come and sit here on the bench and you say that Joe Pencil was exhausted, Nyama was on the bench, you didn't bring him. Osman Bukari was on the bench, you didn't bring him. Right? Inaki Williams was on the bench. Mr. Fit, Mr. Super Fit. The man has not missed a game in 8 years.
Atletico Bilbao.
For Athletic Bilbao. As soon as he left Ivory Coast,
He went to score.
He got there in the afternoon, the evening, he had scored and provided an assist. And the assist,
And that was the winner.
his brother.
Against Barcelona. I mean, unbelievable.
And you needed people who will not get exhausted.
And I'm
you
told,
got Mr.
and,
Exhaust himself.
and I'm told, Koja, apparently what he said in how do you call it, the Spanish language meant, I want to prove a point.
Yes.
I'm told that's what he said.
Yeah.
You know, he spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
He said he
And
wants
he's
to prove
got
a point.
issues. He's got issue with so many of the.
But he will have
some of the
issues.
players.
You see him
There was
making
talk-
the runs.
Yeah, but
And
nobody-
Jordan Ayew
He won't pass the ball.
Charlie.
When he turns and
Oh,
looks at him,
my
then
God.
he turns his face away.
So
no,
there are some hard decisions that
That
we
ought
want
be
to
made.
take.
Yeah.
It's some hard decisions. The kind of decisions that Ben Kofi took. And God, I miss Ben Kofi.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh Lord Jesus.
Ben Kofi made some tough decisions, some hard decisions. At the time, everybody thought, what's wrong with this old man?
He said that is the way. When you know
2
him,
years later, we had qualified for our first World Cup.
Yeah.
Right? Ben Kofi made decisions. 2 years later, those decisions bore fruit. If you recall, We were never able to deal with South Africa.
Yeah.
Ben Kofi made some decisions. We trounced them 3-0 here. And then we went and smashed them. For me,
That was the game.
Best.
That was the game that qualified.
Black Stars have ever played. Because I sat in that stadium at FMB and I was amazed at Michael Essien taking on the match.
The bull by the horn.
Butalezi and just cutting them to shreds.
Yeah. I recall.
Okay. It's not as if the days when we're saying our players were warming benches. It's still the case today. Right? Ali Dusedu doesn't warm bench.
He's changed club, actually.
He's actually taking him to rest. Ali Dusedu doesn't warm bench. Chiku doesn't warm bench. Even Salisu will come back from injury. If he's match fit, he doesn't want bench. Baba Idrisu doesn't want bench. He plays for America all the time. Salisu doesn't want bench. Salis doesn't want bench. Just Joseph Pencil. Joseph Pencil plays every match, every minute for Genk. How can he get exhausted after playing 45 minutes for the Black Stars?
Shocking.
It's a lie. Our man Inaki from Athletic Bilbao doesn't want bench. Mohamed Kudus.
Oh my God.
The great Kudus. The man who starts a goal celebration that Mohamed Salah copies. Who started sitting on the advertising halls first?
Kudus did.
Who started that goal celebration? We have all these players who, in the article that I showed you from the Athletic, they said Mohamed Kudus is the best African footballer in Europe apart from Salah.
Even that is debatable.
Who is
I
better
agree.
than him?
Well, technically,
Yes.
who is best?
Don't tell me.
Kudus is better
Don't
than
tell me Osimhen.
No, he's
I'm
saying
saying
that
Kudus is better than Salah for me.
maybe not yet.
No.
Maybe he can become better, but not yet.
No, because I'm looking at both his dribbling and scoring abilities.
My brother,
But
Well,
Salah
I've
scores
let's
more.
look
Pardon me. I'm just a mere
let's
mortal.
not even start talking about a man who has scored 200 goals in 6 years.
Anyway, that's fine.
Can't even begin
That's
to
fine.
compare.
That's fine.
Because the man's discipline, his application to his craft is you need time
to get there.
to get to where Salah has gotten. There's no comparison. But I'm saying that, look, when he came to the Premier League, the question was, in the West Ham team, who was he going to bench? Now the question is, who can bench him? Same thing was said when he was going to Ajax. From New Zealand, who's going to? Mohamed Kudus is a supreme footballer. I have made this assertion. I said it in an interview with Ghana Web, and some MPP people were insulting me, and I just need them to know me, my antecedents is in football. When it comes to football, I know my football. I said then that Mohamed Kudus is the best talent we have seen in this country apart from Abedi Pele. And I stand.
Not even Michael Essien?
No, technically.
Oh, come on.
Technically,
He's better than Essien. Really? Essien is a complete animal.
Okay, that's fine.
I said, you see, my grammar is not that bad. That's why I said he's the best talent. Right? We have seen talent in this country like Olabode. Right? We've seen talent like Henry Akwa. We've seen talent like Tariq. That boy was a Hasselhoek.
Tariq Jibrin.
Tariq Jibrin. I can name them. We've seen talent. For me, arguably, one of the biggest talents we have seen in this country that didn't get anywhere. That pains me today is that boy who was playing for Kotoko. What's his name? Tall striker. He played in the Cup of Nations 2006.
Is it Bani?
No. The Muslim name has a very bad attitude. This is a guy who decided once told a bedman said that if he didn't get predator shoes, he wasn't going to play a match. I've forgotten the name.
Baba Amando.
Oh, Baba Amando.
If Baba Amando had followed his talent, today would have been talking Ballon d'Or stakes.
Really?
Yes.
He was that good.
He was that good.
Massive potential.
He was that good. You see, getting a tall striker, 6'2" and 6'3" striker,
who is very
good
crafty with his feet.
Yeah.
It's rare.
Can strike the ball from distance.
So recall the commentary. Baba Mando.
He was close control.
Okay.
Unbelievable. He had everything. What he didn't have was discipline. Okay. But Mohamed Kudus has everything.
I see.
And he's got discipline.
Yeah, he's got discipline. That's true. Kudu, let me also bring a Chris. But Chris, before you come in, let me just say that our WhatsApp line is 0249-155-646. So 0249-155-646. Some of you have sent us messages already. So apparently we display the number on your screens, and so I'll just read a couple, just a few, and then I can bring Prince in. So this one here this one says, "Good morning, sir. Please tell Mr. Kodetumbuafo that he'll be Sports Minister 2025. Trust me, Chris from Surutum from Samiflex TV. I pray that President Mahama will appoint this man as our Sports Minister 2025. Good morning, Metro Sport. This is Metro TV. My name is Fatau from Ashoman Estate. Please, we shouldn't blame any Black Star player because our preparation for this AFCON was very bad, and we didn't want the team. We didn't go there. What? We didn't go there as a team, but we went there as farmers, fishermen, and dancers. I see. Good morning to you, Mr. Moore, and your panelists. I don't agree with your panelists about Jordan Ayew. Defense and attacks. Our darling boy Kudus was lazing about. I don't think Ghana Black Stars will be like this. First, all we need to do is to sack the GFA president. He's not helping Ghana football. How can you spend our own money? Your own money to prepare food, then you eat all because of Black Stars. Hi, you should rather blame the technical team in the FA, not Jordan and Andrew Ayew. Aziz from Abofum. Good morning. I wish to suggest that our national teams should be taken from the GFA. The logo on the jersey should be replaced with a coat of arms and also return to our yellow jersey from Adidas. The GFA should concentrate on our local league, and that's Kampong Heneba from Kufuridia. Good morning, please. What I have to say is GFA President, Sports Minister, and Ayew brothers are the downfall of our Black Stars. Party will not join the Black Stars again because of the players I have mentioned. They are selfish and greedy. Again, the GFA needs to be disciplined and stop being like something. That's why you see Michael Nkoko Kwewu. Good morning, boss. Your show is really superb, and I really like the way your pundits are making their suggestions, and keep the good work done for God and country. I'm Randolph Ewuba Nuto at a Sherman at Tadika, Newland. Good morning. The sacking of Chris Hughton is long overdue. The man is just technically bankrupt. GFA itself also needs overhauling. Kelvin from Latabia question. Finally, there's more, but let me just read this final one. Good morning, Mr. Gentleman Moro. If most of the players have eaten gari to bed before... Okay, I don't understand what you're... When we exited from the World Cup in Qatar, I sent a message to you in a similar show. The GFA should be ceded to the military to manage the Black Stars in particular. I still stand by it today. That from Wa. All right, Chris. Yeah. There was something.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on the way Keto Kreku
has managed.
Yeah, has managed our football.
Right.
He's the worst FA president I have seen. Because he's taken us to 3 major tournaments.
Someone wants to know what the documents on the table are.
Oh, they are just very simple. I've got here Dr. Hanan Shada, which is the Algerian Football Association chairman or president.
Right.
And he talks about, in this letter, when you read, the touching point of this letter, have you seen an apology being renewed? In the letter, the man writes the letter and apologizes to the Algerian people back and forth.
So you get there when you talk about what
exactly
the FA should do. So what the FA should do. That he think is the worst FA president.
Exactly, he's the worst FA president because he's taken us to 3 major tournaments and we've been embarrassed, disgraced beyond measure.
Okay.
Now, anytime he goes for these tournaments and he comes back, instead of him to be very, very reflective and very sober. The way I was brought up in a manner where if I'm given a task to perform and I'm unable to do so, I come back, first of all, saying sorry to my mother, and then ask my mom, what did I not do right? Can she help me out? If not, get somebody closer who has an idea of what I was going to do that I couldn't do, and that person corrects me, and then I go in there with another shot. And most often than not, when that happens, I tend to get it right. We went to the AFCON in Cameroon. We got booted out by Comoros. When Keto Kreku came and he was asked, that what has he got to say about the exit of the Black Stars? He said every Ghanaian has his or her opinion about the Black Stars.
That's what Kurt said?
That's what he said. I'm quoting him. Has his or her opinion about the Black Stars. But if we've got Messi and Ronaldo, we should bring them into the team for them to go and win the cup for this country. That was so disrespectful, so arrogant on the part of the young man. And to me, that was the beginning of whatever he's going through as FA president as we speak. We went to Cote d'Ivoire. He virtually chased. Listen to the words I'm using though. He used his Goro boys to chase our coach, the coach of Ghana. They chased Chris Hughton and make life very uncomfortable for the man to work. The man technically, tactically bankrupt. But at the end of the day, he's the one who've taken him there.
Yeah, so
allow him to do his work.
He needs our support.
Just take back, support him too. When he first know that, look, I was given every support, I just couldn't cut it. As we speak, Chris Hughton will speak. But very typical of these people, they will not speak when everybody's heated like that. When all the tempers calm down, then that man will tell us what exactly transpired.
You think he will?
He will. Those closest to him, I've spoken to 3 of them. And if you have the opportunity to talk to Prime Minister, he will tell you the man will speak. He will speak at the right time. If Ketu Kreko can use his people to chase somebody that the taxpayer of Ghana pays, then Ket is indeed a very arrogant and disrespectful person that I think the government of Ghana should ask him to render an unqualified apology to the people of this country.
At the very least.
At the very least. At the very least. How can you term our coach a buying coach? We've given you the opportunity to appoint 4 coaches. One of them, in appointing him at his unveiling, you disgraced our legend. You told the whole world that Milovan Rivac at the time was the only drink on the table. There was no other drink on the table. So we have gotten our man. This is not Matra Makwe. You are referring to Sika Akono as Matra Makwe. This is not a person without any experience. And some of us told you, this man has been sitting home for the past 5 years. It's not been working. He's not been working. Don't give him the job. You insulted our intelligence. Appointed Milo. He took us to the AFCON. We couldn't win 1 game. You came back again and you told all of us that under your reign, no coach will be given the free hand to select players into our national team. That if you are incapacitated, I'm quoting him. I remember these words when he had the interview with Gary Al-Smith on Joy. He said that if he is incapacitated and that he cannot attend the final meeting that the coaches will have before releasing the names of players into our national team, he will select somebody or choose somebody he trusts who believes in what he believes in, and the person will be at that meeting. And that any player that he, Ketu Kreko, is unhappy with will not be part of the team.
I'll come back, and don't worry, I'm sorry I'm interrupting. I have to take a break. When I come back, I'll allow you to continue, and then we'll ask the question whether he should resign and what kind of coach the Black Stars need going forward. If you look at the criteria that has been spelled out in terms of what we're looking for in selecting the next or in hiring the next Black Stars coach, whether that is actually what we need. So we'll take a short break. This is Inside Pages. My name is Aldemore. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're talking Black Stars. The Ghana Football Association is looking for a new coach. A 5-member committee has been set up to hire a new coach, and the criteria has been clearly spelled out in terms of what we're looking for in our next coach. And my resource persons here, first of all, try to, diagnose the problem with the Black Stars, and from their perspectives. And in fact, some of the things that even happened in Ivory Coast that led to our exit, some of those things very revealing. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if Coach Emily would want to repeat some of those things, but I'm sure he still has more to share. We have about 20 minutes to end the show, and then we'll be back at 1 p.m. to talk about MPP parliamentary primaries. Only MPP is conducting, parliamentary primaries for constituencies where they have sitting MPs, and you should watch out for some constituencies. Wicked, massive things is happening. It's going to be fiercely contested in specific constituencies. In fact, those constituencies have become battlegrounds. Bantama. It's not going to be easy at all. So watch out when we come back at 1 p.m. with another session.
Showdown in Bantama.
No, don't be small.
Showdown.
Hey, Bantama, don't be small. Oh. Right. So in fact, Bantama is almost like it's another Kennedy Japan against the system again.
But why do you think I said showdown?
That's a showdown. Yeah.
But meanwhile, so how is it going to be?
Well, he's still in hospital.
He's
still unwell.
I've never seen anybody in a hospital bed with his car keys, his gold chain, and his watch by his bed, and no medicine. No medicine.
Oh, the man know well. Why are you doing that?
I beg, go and look at the picture again. Okay. There was no medicine on but there was a car key, gold chain, and his watch. That's the definition of sickness.
I beg you,
you can fool some of the people all the time. But when the Ashanti chiefs get with you,
you do with you.
You see your smoothness.
Now, why you're very smooth? Why to say asphalt road? I feel I go down pebbles.
Boss, the man know well. Why do you do that? No,
I think they've diagnosed him with coccidiosis.
We don't know what they diagnosed.
You know coccidiosis. You know the disease where the chickens they get it. They call them a cashew.
Oh, good.
What do we get a cashew?
They're
not going to
back to sports. Right, Chris.
So
you're sharing some very important information.
So, like I was saying, this man has proven that he really doesn't care. When we lose, he doesn't care. And he uses the Black Stars as a cash cow. He puts his players in there, make money. Don't forget Philemon Bafour at the time was his own player. So fast forward. We don't need a committee to search for a coach right now. The next Black Stars competitive game is in June. It's in June, we are in January.
Yep.
So we can give ourselves from now up to like March.
We'll have a friendly with Argentina.
That should be cancelled immediately.
Why? We're not ready?
Look, it's an avenue for making money. The GFA Commission. Look, the GFA Commission that some of us work for. I work for the commission.
Yeah.
They appointed a technical team made up of the late Ben Kofi, the late Samadi, Masaudi Dramani, Otia Kentin, Professor Minta, and myself. I was the secretary to that technical team. If you read the recommended GFA Commission report, it is clearly stated in there that our national team should not be used as a cash cow. It should not be taken out there to play any friendly games if the details, especially the financial details of the contract, is not made available. This minister, the sports minister, together with the FA, they've been in bed with each other, and they took our team to America, where we played against the US and the Mexican national team. We made good money. Up to now, nobody knows how much money was made. But the money has been shared. Like they shared $100,000 to each other. I think your man is on the line. Talk to him when we come and look at the criteria. Whether they are practical enough.
Whether practical enough. Yao Mpofanka is also a sports journalist. He's with Max TV, actually. Yao, it's good to have you join us on the show. So, I don't know whether I want to take you back to your analysis of what happened to the Black Stars, but Charlie, going forward, what else do we need to do? We have a 5-member committee which has been set up. It's going to be chaired by Dr. Mark Addo. We have Ace as his vice, and others who are members of the committee. You look at the criteria as well. Are we on track? Please unmute. Please unmute. Yeah. Yeah, please unmute so that we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can hear me now.
I can hear you now. Great.
Awesome, Moro. Thanks a lot. Happy New Year. We've not met this year, so
Yeah, Happy New Year to
greetings to
you.
Coach and Kojo. Yeah,
Hey, bro, how?
Ghana football, the Black Stars in particular in crisis.
Yeah, please
and,
speak up. We can hardly hear you.
That.
Please speak up. We
Can
can
you
hardly
hear
hear you. Yeah.
Right, is it better now?
Way better now. Way better. You're very clear now. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So, as I said, Ghana, the Black Stars in crisis, and already, there's a search for a new coach. But I don't think that's the solution. I mean, we need to tackle the issues at its roots. And I'm sure Coach has enumerated exactly what needs to be done. But maybe if I can add to that, we need to really take a look at Ghana football and be very honest with ourselves, where we are now as a so-called football nation. Maybe the reality is that we're no longer a football nation, and that hasn't sunk in, not just for those in charge of running the game, but for the wider Ghanaian, the citizen who's very much given the encouragement or false hope that Ghana is still a football nation. It's been a while since Ghana last won the African Cup of Nations. I know you're a young man. I don't think you were born by then, but we really need to look at the issues affecting Ghana football from a different perspective. And for now, obviously, those in charge, they failed. And I think the sad part of the failure is that people are not ready to accept or admit that there is failure. We have failed and we need to do something about it. That's very sad because you see, when you admit and you identify that you failed, that is halfway to solving the problem. But if people still believe that, nothing is wrong or it can be resolved doing the same thing, and we've been doing the same thing, sacking coaches, bringing a new one in, expatriates, we tried local, it hasn't worked. So certainly that is not the solution. It could be one of the solutions, but that is not the solution. And for me, I think stakeholders need to take a very serious look at Ghana football holistically, not just the Black Stars, because the problem is when we always pay attention to the Black Stars, millions of dollars, taxpayers' money, the list goes on, the sacrifices people have made. I can tell you how supporters were heartbroken in Abidjan by the Black Stars performance, and even non-Ghanaians, Ivorians and other nationalities, shocked at the Black Stars. This is not the Black Stars they know. The name is there, but clearly the team is spiritless, it's listless, it has no soul, it has no passion or desire. And the manner in which we were booted out, even worse than the previous AFCON. We said it can't be worse than Cameroon, but it was worse. And the fear and danger is that it could even get worse if we don't do something drastic.
Okay.
And that's where we find ourselves now.
Well, I was 4 years old the last time we won an AFCON trophy. That's 1982.
There you go.
Yeah, I was 4 years old. Well,
I thought you were younger than that, but that's okay.
Anyway, but listen, just quickly, when you look at the individuals who actually constitute the search party, if I may call them, do you think these are the guys we need? So you have Marcado, Esankuma, some guy from sports ministry, and so on. Are these the guys who can do the job? They can find us the right coach?
Are you talking about the search for a new coach?
Yes. I'm talking about the committee that's been put together.
With all due respect to those honorable gentlemen, I don't think that's the way at all. I mean, look, we have... Yeah, let me go straight to the point. If you're looking for a coach, first of all, we need to identify, and when I say we, the gentlemen who are being tasked to look for a new coach, are they the ones with the philosophy of Ghana football? What is the template? What are we looking for? I've seen some, criteria, but that's not it. It should go beyond that, and it should be really a critical headhunting. If by now we don't know that we want these top 5 coaches, these are the coaches we want already, let's prune it down by bringing them in to interview them. It's not now that you're going to go up and open up a search for new coaches again to apply. And I've seen all manner of names being bandied about. It's an opportunity also for some to do business again, by pushing for their coaches. Agents will start quickly pushing through their coaches. And you know what that means? We should be able to say that, Moro, Coach Mingo, these are the 5 top coaches we want because of the type of play we want, where we want to go in the next 5 years or 4 years or 3 years, and which one of these 5 can we go for? This is the budget that we have. If we don't have it, let's raise money. Corporate Ghana should come in to support. If state says we cannot pay 50,000 or 100,000 for a coach, let's get to work. Let's raise the money and make sure we bring the best coach for Ghana, because if we want to get back on our feet, we need the best. We've got some of the best footballers in the world. I don't think the players are bad. I don't think the players are terrible. I just think they're in a bad place and there's no spirit. They need a charge. They need a shock to get them back in, to where they're supposed to be. But if you have good players with a bankrupt technical guidance, it's zero. So I think we need to identify ourselves. By now, we should know the type of coaches we are looking for as a nation. Go and headhunt. As I said, if the price is high, bring in corporate Ghana to support. 50% states, 50% corporate Ghana, or 70-30, whatever it is. We need to go in that direction, radically.
Yeah, just 30 seconds. 30 seconds, yeah. Should Keto Kreku be apologizing to Ghanaians? At least tell Ghanaians something.
It's late, isn't it? I've seen the statement by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Obviously, that would be the minister. Players individually have taken it upon themselves to apologize on their various social media platforms. That's good. But I think immediately after that defeat, the man in charge, the number one man in charge of football, come out and tell Ghanaians, look, we're sorry, but we'll get back to you. Let's do house cleansing. Let's do post-mortem. But for now, we are very sorry. We're going to get back to you once we've got all the reports, but nothing of the sort. I mean, if you apologize today, I think it's late. If you apologize tomorrow, I think it's late. Your players should not be apologizing before you. So that's my position.
All right, yeah, thank you so very much. It was wonderful talking to you. And please, you can go back to site. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway.
There you go.
The criteria. Are we on track with the criteria?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Look, first and foremost, if you talk about the person should have a 15 years of experience.
What's an experience?
I think you've overly stretched it. It's too overstretched. When Pep Guardiola took over the job at Barcelona, he hadn't coached the senior team before. But his first season, he got them winning things. I agree with what he has said, that what we really need to do, and I even said this yesterday on another program, that look, we know what we want. So we should be going out there to bring our man. Poach our man. Or let's look at a pool of 3, you said 5, let's say maximum 5 coaches that will fit into our style of play, our DNA. Somebody, yes, I agree, who is a disciplinarian, somebody who is a developer, somebody who way of doing things would allow the type of young players that we have, the likes of Kudus, Pencil, Bukari, and the likes to flourish, and Esniama and Co to flourish.
Okay.
Somebody who can go back to somebody like Jeffrey Schlupp with all his years of experience. That you see, in building a new team, you don't need to start holistically with all new young players. No, there must be experienced guys in there to guide them. Somebody who can go to somebody like Alfred Duncan of Fiorentina and get him to rescind his decision not to play for the country again, because he's doing superbly well in the Italian Serie A. So we should go in for a coach whose authority. Look, because of time, you see all the things they've said. There's one thing that is missing. The FA should go back and include in their criteria that henceforth, Ket Okreku and the ESCO members would desist from influencing selection of our players into our national team.
Very critical.
That is very critical. And for this, it's not only about the Black Stars. So it cuts through all our national teams. As I speak, somebody drew my attention to the under 23 team that have been assembled because we are hosting the All African Games here in Ghana in March. If you go through that thing, I'm here to check. But the person who gave me the info will not lie. So from here, I'm going to go through that thing. If you go through that team, if you look at the players that has been called again, Ket Okreku alone has about 6 football teams. He has about 6 football teams. The ESCO members, they all have teams. And then there are people who are very close to them, they all have teams. So when you look at the pool of players, dominated by players belonging to these people. So that is the only avenue they can use to showcase their players and sell their players. The players are Ghanaians, nobody should get me wrong. But I believe that if the pool were to be made wider, maybe those players belonging to them will fall short of the standard required, and therefore they will not be part of our national team. The national team call-up should be based on players who are the very best in their position, in their role. That is the only way as a country we can move forward. So you can bring out all these criteria, some of them very practical, some of them very unpractical. But if you don't create the avenue to allow the next coach of the Black Stars to have his free hand, where he can take decisions together with his technical team, and therefore be fully responsible for our success and our failure on the pitch, then you have no right whatsoever to blame him when we fail. We are sitting here today and say the failure of our teams cannot solely be put on the coaches alone. Why are we saying that? Because our president, our chairman, the FHI, he's on record to have said his players would definitely be part of the team. Philemon Bafo, the likes of Benjamin Tete, the likes of, I can name several of them. And as for the youth, the juvenile team, my brother, it is atrocious. One day, when I get the list, I will do a copy and I'll send you and I'll highlight how many players belong to Ket Okreku alone, how many of them belong to Heart of Lions, how many of them belong to Vision FC. These are the people at the ESCO and those who are very close to Ket Okreku. It is only their players. I took a player to the national under 17 team. I didn't want them to know it was my player. Do you know what they did? They asked the boy that the boy should sign up onto their agency. How can you be, if you are running our football and you have an agency that manage players, and you insist that when these boys go to the national team camps and they are good, you ask them to sign for your agency. If they refuse to sign, then you sack them on grounds that they are not good enough. Only players belonging to you, even who brought Ransford Yeboah Konosdova, who brought Schindler, who brought Jeffrey Opoku. These are players who play in mediocre leagues, 2nd division league, some of them 3rd division league, and they find themselves in our team. The Black Stars of Ghana, the Michael Essien Black Stars, Stephen Appiah Black Stars, Asamoah Gyan's Black Stars. Top-notch criteria is not being set. So for me, they can do all the good things, but in going forward, we cannot have an immediate fix because the problem is big. So we should now begin to talk to the people of this country that we should minimize expectation so that we can give ourselves within the next 3 to 5 years to come back to our true status where if we go to the AFCON, we either make the final or the semi-finals like we used to do some few years ago. If we can put ourselves and get the people to understand that, look, where we've gotten to, we need to be patient because we are going to implement several measures that will ensure that we get back to where we need to be. Calm the expectations of, don't be going to the president of the land and saying, give me $26 million and I'll win the AFCON for you. You know practically you are not doing it, and that's not going to be possible.
Okay.
If we can do that, I think we'll be fine.
Please talk about how George Boateng, Chris Hughton were ever made to get close to the Black Stars when they were in their peak. They rather opted to represent another country. So he's talking about loyalty and allegiance, not too strong. Especially with Boateng, who was never even taken seriously by Netherlands when we have legends like Jan and Apia. Where is the patriotism? The best person for the FA is Tony Boafo. The guy's discipline is scary. I once tried talking to him into contesting, and he blatantly refused considering what he's doing with the retired footballers.
I met him in town. I said, Chairman, wouldn't you go for this? Look,
he's not interested.
His way of doing things, the cabal,
they won't like it.
Wouldn't like it. So he will not put himself up for it.
Interesting. Let me read this. Wow, about 30 messages. I'm not going to because when we ran out of time. This one said, good morning, please. There's free oxygen system is not. Oh, sorry. Look at that. Okay, so good morning. My concern is if the coach can't win tournaments, we have to take off the IU brothers for his own good. That's coming from Anthony from Ayarifa. Good morning. Well done with your in-depth analysis. I think Ghanaians are not angry enough. We have given every sector of the country to politicians, but we should not allow that in our football. We love our football, and we must stand up against it for the GFA president. If he doesn't render an apology to Ghanaians, we'll advise ourselves and make a decision. Kojo from Ablekuma says, good morning, more on your panelists. Please, the Black Stars should be giving the Prosper Ogum for a long time. Yeah, he's a good coach, but you need some small polishing. So he can develop and build a proper team to win as trophies. I've seen him do it to Kotoko. And also the GFA should not interfere with his work. Also, we should refer to our yellow jersey because that's the body, soul, and spirit of the Black Stars. And the logo be changed to the coat of arms. James from LAS says, please tell Mr. Kojo please tell Kojo that he's a good man and he'll be the next government minister. Who is this man? Good morning, sir. I'm staying from OEB. I must say that our second match was painful, but our last match was more painful. One thing the players have to do is that people are supporting the team with their heart and everything. All right, so too many messages. I can't read all. My name is Aldo Moro. Thanks for watching. I want to thank Mr. Kojo Chumbwafo. He is a sports enthusiast, not just talk about sports enthusiast, and making time to join us. And also, Coach Christopher Nimley, household name, super, very passionate about Ghana, very passionate about Ghana football and sports in general. My name is Aldo Moro. I also want to thank Yampo Fankra for joining us at some point. Now, remember that at 12 o'clock, the official coverage of the MPP's parliamentary election starts here on Metro TV, but I will come at 1 o'clock. So stay tuned in. Join us again. Bye-bye.